Hello, welcome to Romance Files. Today, we're going to have some more stories from Reddit. But before we start, it would be so much appreciated if you would subscribe to my channel and like the video. Now, without further ado, let's go. Here is my story. My love story begins 2 years ago when I married my high school sweetheart, Sarah. She was a great cook, kept the house tidy, and could make me laugh even after a long day at work. At first, this was more than enough for me in marriage. My expectations weren't high. I wanted someone to greet me after work, feed me, and entertain me. In reality, we lived like most ordinary married couples, sometimes arguing, sometimes making up, sometimes caring for each other, and sometimes annoying one another. Nothing extraordinary, to be honest. Despite the quiet and decent family life, the monotony of marriage quickly grew tiresome for me. Everything could have been better if my wife went out more often. I wanted to spend more time outdoors, in nature, and traveling. I was young and my soul yearned for adventure. But for some reason, my wife didn't like spending her free time outside the home, which irritated me greatly. I no longer felt the love and passion that was there at the beginning of our relationship, so I tried with all my might to add some variety to our marriage. Sarah was a wonderful housewife, I won't argue that, but I craved more attention from her. I longed for her participation in the escapades that warmed me from within and allowed me to enjoy life. She began refusing more and more to watch a movie together or be intimate, justifying it with headaches or fatigue. At some point, I felt like we were just living under the same roof, like roommates. After hundreds of attempts to somehow fix the situation, I decided to leave everything as it was and simply spend less time at home, dedicating it to myself. I started working late, going fishing, joined a gym, and tried to keep myself as busy as possible to improve my physical shape. I thought this would allow my wife to rest, naively believing that her whole problem was fatigue. I thought a short break would rekindle the fire in our relationship. However, it soon became clear that the problem wasn't with me or our marriage, but with her. It was revealed in the most cliché way. As my wife was cooking dinner at the stove and I was cleaning the living room, a notification came in on her phone. I never tried to control my wife's messages because I trusted her, but my gaze involuntarily glanced at the screen. There was a message that said, "Is your husband not home yet? I hope you're wearing that sexy black lingerie with lace right now because I want to come over." My body froze. My hand reached for the phone on its own, unlocked it, and opened the message. If you enjoyed this video, consider liking my video. I didn't know who this man was, but from the explicit photos and erotic messages, I understood everything. My wife wasn't tired from work or headaches at all. She was spending her energy on her lover, leaving nothing for her lawful husband. I sent him a reply, "Come on over." I turned off the sound and hid the phone so my wife wouldn't find out until the right moment. You should have seen her face when the doorbell rang and Sarah saw her lover standing on the doorstep. But I dare say the face of the unfamiliar man looked better in that moment. With a broken nose and real fear for his life, when I pointed a gun at him. In our state, it was legal to keep firearms at home, and no, I didn't want to harm him, just scare him and emphasize the seriousness of my intentions if he ever tried to cross the threshold of this house again. The man turned out to be a coward, but not a fool, so he quickly got the hint and fled. That same day, Sarah was furious and declared she was leaving me, calling me a psycho and a complete lunatic. To be honest, there was relief in my soul. We had spent so much time together, invested so much effort into this relationship, but my feelings instantly cooled after that message, as if they were never there in the first place. When my wife packed her things and slammed the front door, I became free and could finally do whatever I wanted. Friends told me that she had moved in with that man and seemed happy. A whole year had passed since those events. During that time, I got divorced, improved my physique, and got a promotion at work. But my life changed in an instant when my grandmother left me an inheritance of $1 million, along with her country house. This happened on an ordinary day as I sat at my desk, occupied with work on the computer. A phone call interrupted my thoughts. When I picked up, I heard my mom's voice say a phrase that turned my world upside down. "Don't miss out on the journey to 1,000 subscribers. Hit that subscribe button now and be part of something big before everyone else." My grandmother had passed away, but left a will that gave a large part of her estate to me. A bitter lump rose in my throat at this sad news. Childhood memories flashed before my eyes of that country house where we had fun together, baked pancakes, and enjoyed life simply, without the noise of the city or even a TV. I realized I had lost someone very dear to me. I was terrified and hurt that I hadn't gotten to tell her how much I loved her. I don't even remember the last time I called her, which made the pain even worse. I became depressed. I even drunkenly called my ex-wife when I tried to drown the grief of loss with alcohol. I just wanted to vent to someone who could support me, but she didn't care. She even laughed when she found out about it. You know, I didn't expect that kind of reaction at all. They didn't get along well with my grandmother, but it was disgusting to hear her be so rude and insensitive about someone who had passed away. Of course, Sarah didn't know about the inheritance. She didn't need to. But after that call, it was like a veil lifted from my eyes. My thoughts instantly shifted from the void left by the heavy loss to new horizons of possibilities. After talking with my grandmother's lawyer, I realized this day was a turning point for me. I felt something was missing from my life. Money and wealth could fill the emptiness, but not my soul. I started thinking about what changes I could make in my life, investments and travels. The world would become my playground and a place for self-discovery. My dreams of adventure that once seemed out of reach were now closer to reality. I decided to start small. I traveled around America and Europe for a while, getting to know new places, cultures, and meeting lots of new people. My grandmother's legacy gave me a chance to start with a clean slate and re-examine my priorities. The house my grandmother left me, I sold for a good sum and gave some of the money to my mom, to be fair. After a period of travels, I used the remaining funds to open my own small and cozy cafe in our town. Luckily, I had worked as a chef several years before, so getting back to my passion and growing it was a joy. Plus, my current marketing job helped me develop the little business, becoming a personal achievement that finally cured my depression and taught me to love life anew. Time went on. My cafe grew more and more popular. More people came and left great reviews on social media, attracting others. My team gradually expanded, allowing me to devote more time to myself and other hobbies. On one beautiful day, my ex-wife appeared at the doorstep of my humble establishment. At the sight of me, tears streamed down her cheeks. Her eyes turned red and her voice trembled. Sarah said how much she loved me, how wrong she had been, and what a huge mistake she had made when she left me. Turns out the relationship with her lover wasn't a happy one. He entertained not only her but many other girls too. Upon finding out, she packed her things and left him herself, but she had nowhere to go. I listened attentively and simply wished her all the best, not commenting on her pitiful whines. I had no desire to deal with this woman whatsoever. As soon as I refused her, her distressed face instantly morphed into a grimace of fierce hatred that would frighten anyone, attracting the attention of customers. She began yelling that she was entitled to half of the property I inherited from my grandmother and that I had to provide for her. If I refused, she threatened to trash my whole cafe right then and there and do everything to ruin its reputation. To prove her point, Sarah grabbed a glass mug from the nearest table where a young mom sat with her little girl and smashed it on the floor. I watched all this, wondering if she was pretending or genuinely mistaking fiction for reality. Of course, as an ex-wife, legally she had no percentage of the inheritance whatsoever, but the woman only raged harder at these reasonable arguments and tried to break something. One of the staff called the police, and soon they took her away for disorderly conduct in a public place. Sarah got a hefty fine and never showed up at my establishment again. Just in case, though, we installed a panic button under the bar for the staff to quickly call the police if need be. I changed a lot over those 2 years. Even though I said it was a relief when she left, it was a huge blow to my male pride. I studied a lot of literature and came to this conclusion. Of course, whether to forgive or not forgive a woman's infidelity is a personal choice for every man, but I believe a woman's unfaithfulness is unforgivable. If it happened, the relationship should end right there. I understood perfectly that everyone has a right to make mistakes that need forgiveness, but a woman's infidelity is not a mistake, it's a betrayal. A relationship with an unfaithful woman has no future prospects, so there's no point in continuing it. One who betrayed once will betray again. That's why I felt relief when I didn't fall for her pathetic manipulations. I had no trust for this woman whatsoever. Sarah was a nobody to me. Despite the betrayal, I was grateful for the experience because it meant one less unreliable person in my life. Now I could do what brings me joy and appreciate what I have. That's the story. If you liked it, please support us with a like, as well as subscribe to our channel. Write in the comments what you think about the story. Thank you for being here with us. Just in case though, we installed a panic button under the bar for the staff to quickly call the police if need be. I changed a lot over those 2 years. Even though I said it was a relief when she left, it was a huge blow to my male pride. I studied a lot of literature and came to this conclusion. Of course, whether to forgive or not forgive a woman's infidelity is a personal choice for every man, but I believe a woman's unfaithfulness is unforgivable. If it happened, the relationship should end right there. I understood perfectly that everyone has a right to make mistakes that need forgiveness, but a woman's infidelity is not a mistake. It's a betrayal. A relationship with an unfaithful woman has no future prospects, so there's no point in continuing it. One who betrayed once will betray again. That's why I felt relief when I didn't fall for her pathetic manipulations. I had no trust for this woman whatsoever. Sarah was a nobody to me. Despite the betrayal, I was grateful for the experience because it meant one less unreliable person in my life.